Spartacus, the gladiator who brought Rome to its knees, epic, true story of rebellion. What would you do if you were forced to fight for your life every day, knowing your fate was determined by the whims of your captors? Spartacus, born into slavery, was thrown into the unforgiving world of gladiators, where survival meant death for those who couldn't endure. His destiny seemed sealed, but there was something in Spartacus that couldn't be broken, something the Romans never anticipated. Not just a skilled fighter, Spartacus harbored the fire of rebellion deep within his soul. Instead of merely accepting his fate, he saw a chance for something greater: freedom. What started as a fight for survival quickly turned into a battle for the soul of an empire. With the blood of countless battles on his hands, Spartacus transformed from a mere gladiator to the leader of a revolution. His defiance would soon challenge the very foundations of the mighty Roman Empire. Spartacus's army grew rapidly as former slaves from all corners of Rome answered his call to arms. They came with nothing but a burning desire for freedom. At first, they were poorly trained, but under Spartacus's leadership, they became a formidable force. With each victory over Roman soldiers, their confidence grew. The once mighty empire trembled as a tide of rebellion surged across Italy. Spartacus's army fought with a unity that stunned Rome's legions. They fought for more than just freedom. They fought for dignity, for a world where they could no longer be treated as animals. This was no longer a rebellion. It was a movement, a revolution. Rome's greatest strength, its military might, was being chipped away by the leadership and resolve of Spartacus and his people. No longer were they slaves. They were warriors, determined to break the chains that had bound them for so long. The spark of rebellion that would come to define Spartacus's journey was lit within the depths of his anger. Trapped in a life of misery, Spartacus could no longer accept his chains. When the time came, he didn't just break free from the arena. He ignited a fire that would grow into a massive revolt. Joined by fellow gladiators, all slaves bound by the same desire for freedom, Spartacus proved that the human spirit could not be crushed by chains. The fight for freedom wasn't just a struggle for survival. It became a cause, a movement. Spartacus's name spread far and wide, inspiring other slaves to rise against their masters. In his eyes, they saw the hope of a life beyond the fields and the mines beyond the shackles. What started as a small act of defiance became a full-fledged revolution. Spartacus wasn't just a gladiator anymore. He was a leader. Rome's mighty legions soon learned that Spartacus was not just a skilled warrior, but a brilliant tactician. As the rebellion spread, Spartacus's army faced the most powerful military force the world had ever known. But Spartacus was no ordinary leader. He used the terrain to his advantage, outsmarting Rome's seasoned generals and winning battle after battle. His understanding of warfare, combined with his ability to inspire his followers, turned the tide in favor of the rebels. The battles were not just physical. They were mental games, a clash of strategy and will. Spartacus's leadership turned ordinary men and women into an unstoppable force, making them more than just fighters. They became a symbol of defiance. The more victories they won, the more Rome realized that this wasn't just a slave revolt. It was a revolution that threatened the very heart of the empire. As Spartacus's rebellion gained momentum, the cost of freedom became clear. The Roman Empire, humiliated by a slave uprising, gathered its forces for one final, decisive battle. Spartacus knew that victory would not come without sacrifice, and his heart ached as many of his closest allies fell in battle. Despite the mounting losses, Spartacus refused to give up. He saw the rebellion as a symbol for something greater than himself. It was for the future, for generations of slaves who would never know the sting of oppression. Every battle they fought was a battle for their dignity. But the Romans were relentless, and the final confrontation loomed large. Spartacus knew that no matter the outcome, the rebellion had already succeeded in one way. It had shaken the foundations of the empire. The Romans would never be able to forget the power of a few defiant souls who dared to rise. Though Spartacus's rebellion ended in tragedy, his legacy lived on. His name became a symbol of hope, courage, and the unyielding fight for freedom. Across the centuries, Spartacus inspired countless revolutions, from slaves in the Caribbean to the oppressed in Eastern Europe. His rebellion proved that even the most oppressed people could rise against their oppressors, and that the fight for justice could never be silenced. Spartacus was more than just a gladiator. He was a legend. His story transcended time and place, inspiring all those who believed in the power of resistance. His vision of freedom, though never fully realized, would continue to inspire movements for justice and equality long after his death. Spartacus may have fallen, but his spirit lived on in those who fought to challenge the forces of oppression, becoming a timeless symbol of defiance. Spartacus's rebellion showed us the power of courage and defiance against even the most brutal empires. Though he lost his battle, the ideals he fought for endured and continue to inspire people today. Spartacus's legacy is a reminder that we can all stand up for justice, no matter how overwhelming the odds. His story is not just a piece of history. It is a call to action for all of us to fight for what is right, to never accept oppression, and to rise in the face of adversity. Share this story, spread the legend, and be inspired by the spirit of Spartacus. Subscribe to Timeless Legends for more untold stories of heroism, courage, and rebellion. Join us as we honor the warriors who shaped history and who continue to inspire us to fight for a better future.